During the production of the 1970 series of Doctor Who, writer Malcolm Holt invented the monsters known as the Silurians. In 1971, when the production of Doctor Who's 9th season began, Holt was asked back to write a sequel to the Silurians, known first as the Sea Silurians, and shortly after, the Sea Devils. This story would also feature the return of the Master, played by Roger Delgado. He was caught by the Doctor and his friends from UNIT at the end of the last season in the story The Demons. So at the start of the story, the Doctor and Jo go to visit the Master in prison on Fortress Island. When they arrive, they meet Colonel Trenchard, played by Clive Morton. He checks their passes and then takes them to the Master's cell. When they reunite with the Master, he appears to be a changed man, but is he really? When they exit, we discover that Trenchard is in fact siding with the Master, and within the same scene, and we get the first major plot point. We hear about vanishing ships. The Doctor then essentially steals the boat which took him to Fortress Island to go and investigate a lifeboat which was charred on the bottom with a strange pattern. When he arrives, Navy men find the Doctor and take him to Captain Hart, played by Edwin Richfield. As the Doctor has come by himself and Jo has his passes, the Doctor is not particularly trusted at first. That is until Jo arrives on a motorbike borrowed from Robbins, the man who owned the boat. Back at the prison, the Master finds himself watching the classic Oliver Postgate puppet series, The Clangers, hilariously explaining to Trenchard that
it seems to be a rather interesting extraterrestrial life form.
Shortly after, the Master and Trenchard examine a map where the ship sunk and discover that right in the centre of the sinkings is a so-called abandoned sea fort, now being converted into a sonar testing station, and contractors were working on it. Back at the Navy base, the Doctor is discussing the markings on the boat with Captain Hart. He deduces that the boat didn't catch fire. Instead, there was a concentrated beam of heat from underneath the boat while it was still in the water to sink the lifeboat and
to make sure there were no survivors.
The Doctor then asks Hart if he can go and investigate the sea fort. Hart says no and kicks them out with a hilarious piece of comedy.
If Horatio Nelson had been in charge of this operation, I hardly think that he would have waited for official instructions.
Yes. A pretty impulsive fellow, if one can believe the history books.
History books? Captain Hart, Horatio Nelson was a personal friend of mine. Come on, Joe.
Good grief. Poor chap's as mad as a hatter.
The Doctor then decides to go to it anyway, taking the boat from Robbins. Once they arrive, they search for the two workers, but can't seem to find them. Shortly after they arrive, the boat explodes, meaning they're now stranded on the fort. But then we get an almost double cliffhanger, as they can't escape from the sea fort, and we already know that a Sea Devil is here and is now coming towards them. Throughout part 1, there is a sly reveal of different parts of the Sea Devil, in a similar way to the Ark in Space, where you first meet a dead Wirren, then the arm, and then finally the full creature. Now we transition into episode 2, where one of the workers, Clark, is in shock after seeing his friend dead and a Sea Devil. Once they get to the bedroom, the Doctor and Jo care for Clark, and start to plan making a transmitting device to be able to get help to escape. When the Doctor goes to get a transistor radio, the Doctor meets the Sea Devil for the first time. This is also the first time we meet the full Sea Devil. The Sea Devil fires at the Doctor, and he runs back to the bedroom and sets up a circuit to stop the Sea Devil from entering the room. Once he activates the circuit, the Sea Devil gets injured and runs away, and then jumps into the water. Back at the naval base, Captain Hart is alerted that the Doctor and Jo have vanished when heading out to sea. He calls Air Sea Rescue and they head over to the sea fort. By the time they arrive, the Doctor has finished his transmitting device and gets them to rescue the trio. When the Doctor finishes with the radio, we get another comedic moment.
Yes. Well, do I say so myself, I think that's a remarkably efficient piece of work.
Back on Fortress Island, Trenchard brings in a box containing a Navy cap. He is then given a lift to the naval base by Trenchard and steals some equipment. Trenchard meets with Hart in his office to pose as a distraction, and after waffling on about a golf tournament, he leaves. Jo then spots the Master from Hart's office, but by the time the alarm is raised, they have already escaped. The Doctor and Jo then go back to the prison and confront Trenchard. This is where one of the best bits of the story happens, the fantastic sword fight sequence between the Doctor and the Master.
You're a good doctor, but you're not good enough.
But you haven't seen the quality of my footwork yet. How many times have I told you? Violence will never get you anywhere.
Which ends in the Master throwing a dagger at the back of the Doctor's head. Now we transition into episode 3, where Trenchard decides to imprison the Doctor, who just managed to miss the dagger throw. They also try to track down Joe, who has gone off to contact UNIT. The Master tells Trenchard that he intends to use the Sea Devils as an army to conquer the planet. Soon after, Joe comes to the window of the Doctor's cell and signals to him that she will be inside in 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, she enters and helps the Doctor to escape. It is then revealed that the reason Trenchard is helping the Master is because he believes they are fighting enemy agents. The Master and Trenchard then run to the beach, as well as the Doctor and Joe. The Master uses a machine to summon the Sea Devil from the ocean. The Doctor and Joe are trapped between the Sea Devil, the Master, and a minefield. Now we move into episode 4, where the Doctor is forced to employ his sonic screwdriver to repel the Sea Devil by exploding mines on the beach. The Doctor and Joe flee to the naval base, where Hart tells them another naval submarine has disappeared. Meanwhile, the Master returns to his cell to begin work on a new device. He activates it and it calls the Sea Devils to him. This is where the first real invasion takes place. The invasion ends in the death of Trenchard, but now the Master has multiple allies in the form of the Sea Devils. The Doctor arranges to go down in a diving bell to investigate the seabed by the fort. When he goes down, a Sea Devil looms at the window and the bell is wound back up. When it reaches the ship, it is empty. This is where we transition into the latter two parts of the story, where the Doctor joins the Master down at the Sea Devil's base. They, like the Silurians, are trying to reclaim the Earth as they feel they are the rightful owners. Walker, the parliamentary private secretary, arrives to solve the sinking ship problems by dropping depth charges. Meanwhile, the Doctor appears to have gained the upper hand in the argument, and the Sea Devils are considering not starting a war against humans. However, the depth charges are dropped, and the Sea Devils quickly dispose of this idea. The Doctor then rescues 2 crew members from the missing submarine by using a Sea Devil gun to melt the door of the cell. The Doctor and the crew members escape in the submarine and return to dry land, where the Doctor confronts Walker about the depth charges. The Sea Devil's real invasion begins here. The Master then sets up a device with the help of the Doctor to supposedly activate all the Sea Devil bases across the globe and start the war against the humans. But as we'll find out, the device might not quite work that way. Soon they go back down to the Sea Devil base and set up the device, but the Sea Devils turn on them. The Doctor, while in the cell with the Master, reveals that the device will destroy the Sea Devil base because
I reversed the polarity of the neutron flow.
the Doctor then uses his sonic screwdriver to escape the cell and takes 2 wetsuits that were left behind from the submarine. The Doctor and the Master escape to the surface, where they are picked up by a hovercraft. The Master collapses as soon as they get on it. The rescuers have called an ambulance for the Master. However, when the ambulance arrive, the Doctor and Joe realise that the man brought out on the stretcher is not really the Master, but a hovercraft crew member wearing a latex mask. The Master has hypnotised him and forced him to act as a decoy. They realise that the Master has stolen the hovercraft and, too late to do anything to stop him, all they can do is bitterly watch their foe taunt them as he escapes to fight another day. And that's the story, and it's a testament to Malcolm Holt's brilliant writing that the story works as well as it does. This story could easily be very, very boring, but it has a quick pace, but not too quick, just right. The comedy is well placed, and Roger Delgado is on form as always. The Sea Devils are set to return at Easter this year in Legend of the Sea Devils, which is going to be very interesting to watch to see if there are any parallels between this story and that.